Hello and welcome to Achievement Hunting 101. I'm FuFuCuddilyPoof and this is level 277. Joining me tonight is Big L.
Hello, FuFuCuddilyPoof.
And we also have Exe the Hero.
2 weeks in a row? What is going on here?
Man, it's been hectic. You've just been the guy to fill in for everything.
There's an opening? I'm here. I'm the substitute podcaster these days, I guess.
That will work. There's also been like we needed some more waifus on the show or something, I guess. So we called you.
I do have a lot of waifus. That's been thoroughly established, and L still does not get it.
Because I keep thinking you're going to give me a 5-syllable, 7-syllable, 5-syllable poem, but then it's like some half-naked like anime chick.
So you, the grammar lord, are confusing haiku and waifu?
Yes, totally.
That's what he meant by that. Literally, I had no idea what he meant until you said it out
No,
loud.
I got it right away. I was like, that has to be a joke, right?
We used to have a haiku
No,
channel.
I understood the haiku, but I'm like, what does haiku have anything to do with waifu? Oh, okay. They sound alike.
It's just
in my brain. I didn't put two and two together until I heard someone say it. It's just like, oh, okay. And it's like, even though our cameras are off right now, when I said waifu, I could just feel El roll his eyes and like facepalm.
This is just off the dome here, but let's see. L made a bad joke. Nobody was surprised. He does that a lot. Hey, haiku.
Surprised?
You know what? Sue me. That was off the dome, man. Surprised.
Not bad.
Shakespearean times.
All right, so that will be everybody's homework. I want to see your best waifu haikus in podcast discussion.
We got the episode title already.
Oh, goodness. Make sure to tag L and X in each of them, and they will be the judges.
Waifu haiku, man. I'm going to start my own podcast. It's just going to be an hour every week of waifu haikus.
Is there a waifu simulator on Xbox? I'm sure there's one on Switch.
That's a good lead-in.
Kind of is, actually.
That was completely intentional.
Sure.
But yeah, question of the week time. And we want to know, if your job was a video game, what would it be? How would it play? And what achievements would you add? So I'm going to get ahead and start reading off patron responses first. First one coming from Vulgar Latin, or should I say Vulgar Lego, because this is the month for the Legos, because people like doing that for some reason. Blech. He says, I imagine my job would be some sort of cook, serve, delicious clone wherein you have to answer the support requests quickly before they piled up.
So
I have no idea what his job is.
I know he works from home. I can tell you that much. He wakes up at the crack of 7:58.
There's going to be a common theme of working with annoying customers or dealing with annoying customers. I'm pretty sure, having not read ahead. Just a hunch.
I was going to say, it sounds like some sort of customer support. I know he told me before. I don't remember. I'm sorry.
He works for Lego.
There we go.
What would be the support request? Like,
help?
Yeah, sure. The box says, for ages 8 to 99, I'm 102. Can I still play with them?
It's a stupid joke.
It was very bad.
Box says
if you guys know,
finished it in an hour.
Phase 10, the card game.
Love it.
It says on it, like, for ages 7 through 67. Or 77, maybe. And at one point, we went to play with my grandpa,
Really?
and he's like, what the hell is this?
That's hilarious. Well, now I need to see that. I need to go look at my box. I love Phase 10. All right, next response comes from Hat90. He says, database simulator. I feel like we're going to have quite a bit of those. I'm sure it's a game out there somewhere. Sounds about as exciting as it actually is. Achievements would be very grindy, like stare at screen for 8 hours without moving and use copy and paste 1,000 times. You would have to start all over again if your boss found you streaming your Xbox on the work PC while you're supposed to be working.
Speaking from experience there, Hatton.
Right. It sounds like something Brooke does, or what Brooke's job would be.
I just learned something interesting
Alright.
about Kenny. Does Kenny say data instead of data?
I wasn't gonna say anything, but he does say data instead of data.
What?
I let it go. I'm
I say
glad you
both.
said something.
I mean, it's common, but it's just weird. I don't know why.
Also, data
I actually
is
say both.
not data are. Data's singular. Sorry, I know it is plural, but no,
Stop it.
data is a singular.
Data B.
The data is valid. No one says the
Data
data
B.
are valid.
Data B ace. Anyway,
I'd say both. I also data, also data.
let's call the whole thing.
It's whatever just
low.
kind of comes out of my head first.
Okay. We still love
Data,
you. Go.
If I watch enough
100%.
Digimon, it'll be like Datamon, and I'll be saying data, whatever feels right at the moment. Scotter Vase say his response is a side-scrolling roguelite adventure game where instead of steadily leveling up to take on stronger enemies, random BS just flies in from the right and annihilates you. Then you get to start all over again.
Do we know what his actual job is?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
It
that would be
sounds
helpful
awesome.
to know.
Yeah, we probably should have added that to the question. If you're being silly, what is
It
your
should have
real
been
job?
obvious.
Yeah, I kind of wish I would have added that because now I don't know really what his is. Maybe
To make up
maybe
a
he's a
job.
professional paintballer.
That's what we're going with?
No.
What
See,
about,
that would
like-
actually make Scar. That would make him interesting. I don't know about that. So.
Oof. What about, like,
Oof,
custodian?
oof.
And,
Sorry,
like,
love you,
there's-
Scar.
Bigger logs in each toilet or something. And
Whoa. Log.
and then,
And that's the thing that flies in from the right, annihilates you, just
Right?
one big log.
Yeah. And then the TikTok DLC comes out, so, they're flushing whole rolls of paper towels down the toilet that you have to unclog.
Is that a thing on TikTok?
Devious Licks, it was
That's
like 2
awful.
years ago. Steal all the things and deface. Or no, Devious Licks was stealing all the things. What was the other trend? Was just destroy everything and then record it. And then post on the internet you committing a misdemeanor.
That makes so much sense in so many ways, and it's so sad.
It really explains Gen Z far too well.
It really does. Framehole says, the closest existing game is Potioncraft Alchemist Simulator. Pretty much matches my formulation work. Making potions is way more fun than adult incontinence screams, but it pays the bills.
That's like a perfect comparison, actually. I like that one a lot.
I mean, here's a cream for that. Yeah.
I'm kind of questioning how the cream works
podcast
too,
title.
assuming I have the correct definition of incontinence, which I think I know. But
Just let's consult Urban Dictionary. Whoa. That's not.
that's not.
Good thing this is not a visual podcast.
Hell's algorithm is now full of incontinence creams.
Yeah, it totally wasn't there before.
Choo. What's next? Hemorrhoid cream?
Yeah.
Adult diapers?
Yes.
That sounds amazing. Not having to get up to go. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. Moving on. All right. Last one I'm going to read is from Mighty Mango, and if it's very fitting that
Speaking
I
of
read
old
his
people.
as. He says mine is already a game, car mechanic simulator. Otherwise, it would be sit at a desk all day and deal with crappy customer simulator. And the reason why it's fitting for me to read his, is because like him, I also work on cars. I rebuild engines. I straight up asked this question. I said it last week. My job's already car mechanic simulator. I want to know what all of yours was, so my answer's already out there.
Yeah, honestly, as far as like
And
this
then I'll-
question goes, like yours is done. You don't have anything to say. It literally already exists.
No,
Yeah.
no. You got to pick an achievement or pick something.
So it literally car mechanic simulator. if you look at the achievement list, there's my job in a lot of ways. Like even the achievement, undo 100,000 bolts. Yeah, been there, done that. When I when I take a cylinder head apart,
You've probably
and I put it back
prestiged
together.
on that particular achievement.
Oh my god, yes. If it's got an overhead cam in it, I've done it a lot. That'll be for the 4 people that understand what that is.
There's at least 5 of
And
us.
I even was trying to like, well, what if I took this like into the home? I'm like, I do all the cooking. I'm a better cook than Brooke. Well, nope. There's a cooking simulator. So like my life apparently is already a video game. So if that X, why don't you go ahead and start reading off the next ones?
Aight. My boy Wild West 08. There is already a game kind of based off my job in Surgeon Simulator. I would make the game less grind and more achievements for exploration and trying different surgeries. No multiplayer. I'm just saying, I'm not a surgeon, but I feel like multiplayer is kind of crucial for surgery, because there's like a team doing said surgery. It's not just like one doctor in the operating room
that's
by
not what I
himself.
thought you meant.
Apple.
That's not what I thought you meant.
We thought they were operating on 12 people at a time?
No, when you said
Yeah.
multiplayer, I'm like, well, yeah, because, there's a patient and a doctor, so therefore, it's
God.
multiplayer.
Like
No, I was just
co-op
thinking
with
quite
the
logically there,
co-op.
actually. What, co-op, you tag out another surgeon when your arm gets tired? Your turn, take over.
I never
Does
played.
anyone know what type of doctor he is? I know he's a doctor. That's about all I know.
I'm gonna say.
I'm just gonna assume he's,
Cardiac.
a brain surgeon.
I was going to say horse doctor, but okay.
Wow. I never played any of those.
There's a word for that, Foof.
What do you call those? Oh boy. Hey, where are you going with this, X?
I literally was going with veterinarian. Is there a joke that I don't know?
Oh, you said.
Oh.
No,
No,
there
I was
was no
confused as
joke.
well.
There was literally no joke.
I
We
was
have a
waiting
word
for a
horse
glue
doctors.
joke, or
There was no punchline.
I thought there was a punchline
I
as
was
well.
waiting for glue, saddle.
Sorry. I was like, why is no one
Mr.
saying
Ed.
anything?
That's hilarious.
Okay.
All
right.
What are those games called? The family game night. What do you call those? Hasbro family game nights. I've never played
the
any of those,
Hasbro
but
Family
is there
Fun Pack?
Oh.
Is there one for Operation? Because I could see like there being.
Ooh, I don't think there is.
Operation. And then, but you have like an FMV version where you're doing a real operation, and then, and there's plenty of eyeballs.
Just eyeballs everywhere.
There's just eyeballs.
Does not look like there's an Operation game.
Yeah, I don't think there is.
That might have. That would have been good for Connect.
That would have been fun on
by good, I mean,
DS
it
or
would never have
3DS.
worked.
Ooh, the stylus.
I wouldn't want that on a console. Let me take out your spleen with my stylus.
There's got to be a DS Operation game.
I'd be surprised if there wasn't, to be honest. Or even like a shovelware ripoff. There has to be. Somebody Google that while I read this next response.
Already ahead of you.
Right. So Hawkeye Cranberry, which I assume your response is going to get interrupted by knowledge of DS Operation. But anyway, Hawkeye Cranberry, a brutally difficult Star Wars game. Why will it be so difficult? Because the lightsabers will work as they should. Leave your foam Jedi Fallen Order lightsabers at your mamas. This will only contain limb-severing and life-ending lightsabers. Basically a one-hit kill mode that works both ways. Get good. Okay, what the heck do you do?
Right? Explanation, please?
Right?
Like, I don't even know.
I think he's a Jedi.
I mean,
I was going to say samurai.
My best guess would be like medieval times joust actor. I guess they're not acting.
Possibly?
They actually are jousting, so that's...
Yeah, but it's like baby's first jousting.
It's a hell of a lot of fun, though, let's be honest.
Oh, and apparently I just Googled Operation Nintendo DS, and apparently there's no Operation game. But
Wild.
there is an Operation Vietnam game.
That's not right.
I don't know for sure because I haven't played the game, but I suspect they're very different.
I have a gut feeling it has nothing to do with the board game.
Ha! Gut.
Oh, damn, I wish I did that on purpose. All right. Well, skeptical, no Lego. My career in software engineering is a roguelike. In each project, I have to start from the beginning. I'll try to reach a goal specified by the client using tools and technologies specified by management. I don't really have a say in what upgrades I get, but I can still learn how to use them. Some of this knowledge even carries over to future projects, but it's a crapshoot each time. That's like a logical, realistic answer, actually. I appreciate that.
That was really good. I can actually kind of see that being a video game.
It probably is one somewhere. Software Engineer Simulator, I don't know.
Somewhere on Steam.
Right? Shower with Your Dad Simulator exists. Software Engineering Simulator exists.
I forgot.
You forgot about that, huh? There you go. There's a Necro post.
Oof.
Necro speech? Or I don't know, whatever. Chesno says, my job would be the minigame from... I pre-read this one. It's really good. Sorry, I'm laughing because I remember what I'm about to read. My job would be the minigame from What Remains of Edith Finch, where he plays the uncle in the fish factory, where you slowly lose your mind and chop your own head off, except replace fish with kitchen doors. If you've played the game, you know exactly what he's talking about. It's so good.
But what's your job?
I assume he installs doors, kitchen doors specifically.
Right.
Would be my guess. We really dropped the ball by not asking what your job is.
Man, if you've answered a question, please let us know what your real job is.
Right.
And also, if his job is hanging kitchen doors, is there a difference between kitchen doors and regular doors when you hang them? Again, I'm a mechanic. I'm not a construction worker. I don't know. That's actually a legitimate question.
No, that is. Would there?
All doors just
is it
are the same.
Maybe kitchen doors are fire safe or something. I don't know.
There's a hinge and a big thing of wood or metal or whatever. I don't know. A door's a door.
Door is a door, except a hinge door and then one of the barn style doors. Those are different.
Yeah, that's definitely different.
Shoot.
Or the ones from Star Trek where it's hydraulic and you hear.
Oh yeah. Ooh, can't forget those sexy doors from Star Trek.
There it is. But what's your answer, X?
All right, so my answer to the question is, I'm currently unemployed, so the game is pretty much do whatever you want, and the achievements are do whatever you want. And really the only concern with this game is I gotta get money from somewhere, so that's where you turn to odd jobs and sell waifus online. So, please buy waifus online from me. You'll unlock an achievement if you do.
Hashtag collectibles.
Hashtag collectibles. But for real, buy some waifus from me, right? Elle, what you got? What's our next patron response?
I'm still trying to figure out what a waifu is, but I don't want to Google it because I think my computer will explode.
Literally, waifu is try saying the word wife in a stereotypical Japanese accent.
Oh.
And that's where the word waifu comes from.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, that's literally the answer. So it's just your favorite anime character that you would like to make your wife. But since the animes are Japanese...
That's not what Urban Dictionary says.
Yeah, I think I'm going back to the root here. And it's just, again, I'm not going to be the one to do the offensive Japanese accent, but yeah, that's how they would say it. Waifu.
Got it. All right. Routerek says, mine would be the opposite side of Flight Simulator. I like to think it could be a full progression thing, starting at a small airfield, not working many aircraft, progressing through to working something the size of, what is this, Heathrow or JFK? As for achievements, non-nerdy achievements would be along the lines of get X amount of aircraft airborne / landed in X time, or maybe something for not responding to aircraft for a certain time period. If you want some nerdy achievements, pushing tin. Achieve minimum wake turbulence distance between 5 consecutive aircraft, or flow way, Jose. Allowed an aircraft to get airborne outside of its permitted departure time. Flow management is the name for this. Wow, that was very wow.
There's actually like effort put into that.
Yeah,
Right?
I know. I'm impressed.
So what is it that you do?
I'm gonna guess he's a pilot who spends all his time playing video games whilst flying the plane.
What's the word?
He
I have
sounds
no
like he's
idea.
air traffic
Air
controller.
traffic controller. That's it. I couldn't think of the actual term. I think we know that, right? Like he literally is an air traffic controller.
So he's.
Do we know that?
So if he's the
If he said that,
I'm
I've
pretty
never
sure.
seen that.
so if he's the controller, we can use him to play the game. Okay.
That was bad. That was really dumb.
What? I've had worse. Chewie on blocks. Lego thing. My job would be, here we go. My job would be Lego product owner, where I run around finding things that have been built badly with dodgy customizations, smash them up, and rebuild them as they should be. Though often that somehow has a domino effect of other things breaking, so it's just a never-ending cycle of breaking and rebuilding and hoping that no one notices it's broken and the danged thing works eventually. It never does. Wow.
I think It Never Does was originally in spoiler tags, as if we didn't already know that it never does.
Oh, he wants to be a Lego product owner.
So his job, I guess, is
Unless he actually does work with Lego.
a Wookiee.
Do we know what Chewie does? As we're going through these, I realized
No.
that like some of our best
I
online
don't.
friends, we have no idea what you do.
I know. I'm actually kind of upset at myself that I don't know what a lot of you guys do. As much time as we spent talking to each other,
Right?
thousands upon thousands of messages, I only know what a couple people do.
That's what I'm saying. It's weird, and it never really came into focus until right now.
Did you cut out the original person's name on this one? Maybe.
Whoops. I might have done so, yes.
All right, we'll go back to it. I was originally. This is from P-Tart. Pretty, she says. I was originally going to write Accounting Simulator as my response, but that would be an incredibly boring game. So I will go with an accounting RPG. You fight your way through the universe through leveling your various accounting skills, like looking at sets of data to identify the problematic numbers, evaluating a list of expenses, and reclassing them to the correct account, and balancing an equation and writing journal entries to make the correction. Also doing side quests to increase your Excel skills. And of course, there'd be random encounters with the auditors. Your skills and inventory are all tracked on a spreadsheet. Thanks, Chewie. Huh.
Just Chewie would
That's very
appear in
interesting.
all of our real life jobs to create spreadsheets. That guy loves his spreadsheets.
I do know that. I know there are like a lot of accountants and basically just spreadsheet people in one form or another.
That was very interesting, Peter. Very nice. Need more RPGs. And Waste Lego Joe. My
Get it
job would be a
right,
combination. What?
I was just saying, get his name right. We got the Lego pun for everyone else.
I got it.
You did.
You know, I like to include both. He says, my job would be a combination of Papers, Please, Tetris, and Nuka Tepper from Fallout, where you have to grab the correct packages from each line and then make sure the numbers match on the packaging to make sure it's going to the correct address, and you put it in the correct truck, and then stack everything correctly so it fits within each truck. I would add perfect morning for not misloading or missing any package truck combinations and getting it all done within the 4 to 5 hour time limit on one shift. Most wonderful time of the year for loading trucks full of gifts without squishing any of them, and anything will fit for squishing a high percentage of boxes within your truck, aka failing the Tetris segment of that shift.
That one I do know. I do
So-
know what he does. He loads the trucks for UPS. So that's actually like a pretty good description, all things considered.
I was gonna say, I know it was FedEx or UPS or something.
Yeah, he works for UPS. A lot of
Which
that,
one didn't know?
a lot of that sounds similar to moving out, right? A little bit.
Gosh, it
So if you
does.
didn't
Oh my gosh, it is.
If you didn't have the accessibility on, you have to put the stupid packages in the truck and have room for them all, which is so annoying. But yeah, that's what it sounds like. So there's sort of a Tetris-y element to it, or more, actually, the other one before that, the anything will fit. I wonder how much time UPS
Yeah, so
drivers go through the boxes and just be like, I wonder what's in here, and just kind of shake it. Not that not that they should do that, but I'm just curious if they do.
I'm not gonna lie, I would totally do that.
They shouldn't open them. But
I feel like if you
they
get
should
like a
potentially-
weird shaped box, you're just human nature makes you have to be careful. Like, what is in this weird shaped box? Or
I
if
could
it's from
totally
like
see Joe-
Elliot's Emporium, like what do you buy at Elliot's Emporium? Like, there has to be
sandwiches,
questions.
obviously.
Obviously.
I could totally see Wastelander like hearing like a box ticking and be like, oh, and then that's the one he opens and then just explodes. I could totally, I don't know why. He's been watching too many.
So
horror
Wastelander,
movies.
if you get a package from L, don't open it because it's gonna explode,
It's a ticking sandwich. No.
and then you'll be covered in mayonnaise.
So yeah. So my job, I work at a doctor's office, and I handle billing, making appointments, anything they need me to do, I do. So I think my game would be. Do you know the game Root Beer Tapper? I'm gonna guess
Mhm.
Kenny doesn't. Or
No.
Beer Tapper, as it used to be before they.
Oh, did it
PG'd
actually?
up.
That I did not know, but I do know Root Beer Tapper.
Oh yeah, it was Beer Tapper in the arcade, and then they turned it into Root Beer Tapper for the 360. Yeah, it used to be
Yeah.
real beer.
Today I learned.
Okay, so basically,
I have never seen this.
you're looking at it now.
Yeah, I'm looking at the old school arcadey one, and then there was I'm assuming this is the 360
It was an arcade game, 200
one
gamer score.
because it looks nicer.
Yes, and that game, such a simple premise. You just have to go up and down and catch the beer, and then throw back the empty glass. And yeah, I would totally do that. Would just have a phone here, a chart there, a billing document there. And that would be fun. Do something like
You're
that.
also sort of kind of like a spreadsheet manager.
Yeah, totally. I mean, my real job is hanging out on Discord, talking to everyone all day. But
Hells yeah.
that's the way it is. That's the way it be.
Hey, you work at a desk. I'm jealous.
Well, actually, that's what I was going to lead with. I feel like I've one of few people that actually leave my house and go to work every day. Very jealous of all the work from home people, although I do like seeing people every
Same.
day.
Could you
So,
do
like,
your job from
I
home?
don't.
Like, is there any legitimate reason for you to be in the office that you could not do from home?
So on Monday through Wednesday we have patients in the office. So
Okay.
I need to be there for that. That's fine. So Thursday and Friday we don't. But they don't they'd have to, I guess, wire the phones to my house and get me the computer program also. So yeah, but they just won't do it. So yes, it could happen.
Could, but won't.
They won't. No. Mm-mm. I've tried. Anywho's.
Well, that's poopy.
Yeah, it's poopy. If I can get them to do that, that would be a real achievement unlocked.
There you go, those real life achievements.
That was a good question, FuFuCuddilyPoof.
Well, thank you. Well, that's what I said. Like last week, we brought up Car Mechanic Simulator for reasons. I don't remember why.
Why did we bring that up?
But I'm just like, I think because all the simulator games are on
Oh
sale.
yeah, that's
and
right. It was the simulator sale. Yep.
Because I think you said you like that game, and I said I don't like that game because it reminds
It's
me
too
of real
close to
life or
home.
something.
Yep. You're absolutely right.
You were trying to put a wrench in that plan. I understand.
Mhm.
The worse, the better.
Jeez, it was. But yeah, that's when I thought. I'm like, hey, what would be everybody else's job? Yeah, that was fun. But also, please do tell us what you guys actually do. 'Cause now
Yeah,
I'm
we
genuinely
would very much like
curious
to know. And I think our guess is
of
based
not
on
just
like your
the
description
patrons,
here.
but like everybody.
We're way off, whatever we guessed.
And if you're not a patron and you didn't see this question, well, that's stupid. You could have been a patron and seen the question. But let us know in podcast discussion. Tell us what your job is and what kind of a video game it would be. Obviously, that's also in the Discord. I don't know what I'm saying right now. I'm tired.
I thought of an achievement for unemployment. The only achievement that I could possibly earn is get a job. That's the only achievement for the unemployment game.
Yeah, that works.
So getting like a
right.
temp job would be like a 200-point game. Getting a full-time job.
Oh, that's so
game.
good. There we go.
Something like
and then
that.
the promotion, you can get the DLC for it. There's something there.
Title update. Yeah, title update. Yeah.
Missed opportunity on my part.
Nailed it.
There's got to be an unemployment simulator or something like that out there.
That sounds like Steam.
That's just is the whole
100%.
platform.
That's true.
All right. Well, let's get into the game showcase. L, why don't you go ahead and start off? What game do you want to talk about?
Okay, real quick, I wanted to give a shout out to our angel of the podcast. Who's the angel of the podcast? X.
Waka, of course.
Yeah, Angel Waka. Randomly on Sunday said, who wants to play Heavy Weapon? I'm going to get you these multiplayer achievements. And I looked, and sure enough, he had them all already.
Wow.
So that was just him being bored
just
/
being an angel.
awesome. Yeah. So I happened to be around, and Vulgar Latin and Inferno. And the four of us, basically, this game is a twin-stick shooter, but you're only on the ground. And when you play with 4 players, it's literally just like everyone is just shooting in circles and shooting up. You play as you're in tanks and you're just shooting like planes overhead. And there's achievements for surviving 8 minutes and 12 minutes. And I had done this before with other people, but I only had the 8-minute achievement and not the 12-minute one. So I wonder if I was just in a bad group or whatever. But we got this done on our first try. So it wound up taking 12 minutes. So thank you very much, Waka.
Nice.
You are an angel.
The best 12 minutes
I
of your
remember
life.
playing that game a little bit. That game was fun.
And I know I say this all the time, but it's fascinating how I could play a 20-year-old game with people. And then, I know the servers are different or whatever, but you know where I'm going with this. Some 1-year-old games I still can't play with people anymore. But this one...
Oh, that's where you're going with
You
this.
know what
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean.
yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, they'll shut down some servers. I guess this is called peer-to-peer, or is it just the Xbox service? I don't know exactly what it's called.
I would assume it's just like peer-to-peer hosting. One person hosts it. That's how Yaris works. You can still earn
It's how they
the
all should
online
be.
Yaris achievements, which is
Hell yeah.
ridiculous.
Classic. All right, so I'm going to talk about a game from my favorite publisher, EastAsiaSoft.
Hey,
But I'm very sad to say that this game was not great. Usually, I enjoy EastAsiaSoft games. This one, not so much. This is a game called Book Quest. And this game is, for all intents and purposes, a Zelda clone, like an NES Zelda clone. So it would be really hard to mess it up. But they did. So you start off,
Of course they did.
and the plot is that a book gets stolen, and you have to find the book that was stolen. So if you thought that was the plot of Book Quest, you were right. You wouldn't think that, would you? No, you would think Book Quest, I don't know, that you'd be doing something with the book. No, it was stolen. You have to find it. That's the quest.
I don't even know what I would think that this game would be.
Yeah. So right off the bat, the estimated time on TA is 2 to 3 hours. So what I think happened is that people assumed this was an easy one because the TA score is 1377, and most EastAsiaSofts, they're like, close to 1,000. So I don't know if you guys are watching video, but the first thing you'll notice is that it was definitely made by a non-English speaking person. The translation is horrible. And
That makes it better.
right? It's kind
no,
of endearing in its own way.
No, gosh, no.
No, it's not.
It was bad. No. It was like it was put through Google Translate and then like through the other way and then
Probably
through the
was.
other way again. Yeah.
You are winner.
Yes. The winner is you. But that was 40
that's right.
years
The winner
ago.
is you. That's it.
Yeah. So that's number one. Number two, so you start off with like a crappy weapon, and then you find a better weapon. So it's like Zelda, in which you can get coins, and the only way you can get coins is by attacking the grass, which, if you know Zelda, you find rupees in the grass. But in Zelda, you see
I now know that.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
I've never played a Zelda. We know this.
One
That's
day
like
we'll
such
trap you in a
common
room.
knowledge, I thought, though.
It's okay.
And you can break
No,
pots,
common
too.
knowledge is there's rupees in the pots.
All right, you got half of it.
Okay. So in Zelda, you would at least see the rupees. In this game, you see +1 coin, +2 coins, +3 coins. That's how you know you found coins, by the words show.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's bad.
It's not great. And then eventually you find a shop, and that's where you spend said coins. But what you don't realize is that a lot of the times in the game, I don't know if the word is soft lock. They lock you from leaving the screen to grind or to come back. So like once you're in a quest, you're stuck there. So you can't like grind out coins and go buy a new armor, a new weapon or something. So I was following a video walkthrough towards and it wasn't even I don't even know what to say. Oh, the music in this game. So a song will play, and then it will stop. Normally, a song will loop. No, a song will play and then just stop. And then maybe a few minutes later, it starts again.
That's bad.
Yeah. Just amazing. So
That explains the 1.2 or 1.92 rating on TA.
Ooh, that's
Oh,
low,
man.
even by like baby game standards.
Yeah.
That's bad.
So there's 3 bosses in the game. The first boss is you'll see Defeat the Dragon. Has a 1.4 ratio. That's for beating the first boss. Do you know why? Because the first boss is hard as hell. It took so many tries, and anyone you talk to says the same thing. This guy sucks. I did find a trick that was not in the video guide. He spits fire at you, and you can hide in the upper right, and a bush will block the fire. You just have to basically... It's all pattern-based. He shoots 5 fireballs, and then you have to go in and hit him as many times as you can, and then run away and do that over and over. But after a while, these little dragons come and attack you. So they are pests. So once the dragons beat, the second boss is, of course, easy. And then the final boss, what they don't tell you, and you wouldn't even know, once you get to the final area, you look in your inventory and you have a brand new sword, just magically in your inventory, and you could equip it, and it's an amazing sword. So if you did grind and bought a new sword, it would be for no reason, because you get a great sword just automatically. I don't even know what to say. I shared my experiences with Kronos. I don't know if you knew this about Kronos, but he goes out of his way to play every game with the word quest in it. I don't know if either of you guys knew that.
That's a great quest.
It's actually a true story. It sounds like something I might have made up, but nope. He plays every game with quest in it.
Oh, it's true. I'll back him up if anybody else doesn't know that.
So he played this game.
Quest for quest.
Yeah, so on my friends list, I only have 6 friends that have completed this game, including myself. And 2 of them are Kronos and Elroy. Are the Discord regulars. Redemption did it, of course. I'm going to have to talk to him about his experience. But yeah, normally I'm all about these EastAsiaSofts. This one, I would say avoid. Sadly. I really wanted to like it. I love Zelda. And yeah, that's Book Quest.
An awful, awful Zelda game.
And like I said, it's 2 to 3 hours TA estimate. The video walkthrough is only like 40 minutes. So if you went through and knew where you were going, but you're going to die on this dragon a million times, and you're going to... Yeah, yeah. Of course, he beats him in the first try, just fine. But I'm sure there's editing involved, right? Like, that's... I don't know. I mean, you could beat it probably in an hour, theoretically.
But you got to get good.
There's no missables. Looking at this list.
No, there's no missables. I guess that's one good thing.
I mean, I guess technically maybe, because like there's one for collecting 100 coins, but it also seems like something you're going to do.
Yeah, but besides, you do get coins with some quests as well, besides the hitting the in the leaves, in the bushes. Yeah, you won't miss that. Wish I had better news, but you're actually better off reading a real book. There, I said it.
What's a book again?
Something you listen to in the car. Actually, that's what podcasts are for.
It's the a book is a boomer podcast.
What's the Family Guy quote? A book, it's like the internet on a tree.
That's really good. I haven't heard that.
Oh,
That's
really?
funny.
Yeah, it's like the internet on a tree. I used that in class a couple times, actually.
Probably just showed them.
All right.
You probably showed them full Family Guy episodes in class and called it a day.
No, never did. I did show SpongeBob after the state tests. Like, you guys just tested for 4 hours, and you want me to teach you? No, we're watching SpongeBob for an hour. Bring snacks.
Now that's a teacher. All right. Yeah, book quest sounds like a real winner.
Yeah, sorry.
There's better EastAsiaSoft games.
Many.
Like the what's it called? Project Starship. That's a good one. X, what game do you want to talk about?
Trigger Witch.
You know, actually,
That's
I
the
was
best
thinking,
Zelda clone.
I was like, of all the EastAsiaSoft games, like he said, some of them are good. Like, which one could he name? And actually, that is a good one. Project Starship is genuinely a very good, competent shooter. So, yeah.
There are a couple of good EastAsiaSoft games. They're usually far and few between.
Same with
Most of
all
them
the
are just,
others, though. Rat has
Ninte-
a couple winners.
Nintendo Switch shovelware, but yeah, there are good ones.
I don't know if you heard me, but Trigger Witch, I've mentioned.
There are good rats. Yeah, Trigger Witch. Yeah,
that's a
I don't
really
know
good
that
Zelda
one.
clone. Yeah, that's really. Oh,
Yeah, don't know that one. Like it's like legitimately good. I
it's
can
like-
check it out.
you and Kelsey, it's co-op and both players get achievements on an EastAsiaSoft co-op local co-op game. It's amazing.
it's actually like
I'm
a
sure,
real game.
I'm sure she
too.
doesn't care, but it's cool. Yeah. I'll figure out which episode I talked about it on. It's wild.
Link. Yeah, all right, solid.
So remember, it's an EastAsiaSoft game. It has a 3.71 rating.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a way to like
Right.
filter all these out by rating, but I'd be hard pressed saying that there's a better one than that.
Mhm.
That's probably their top rated game.
Probably.
They've got 13 pages of games. Oh my god, I didn't know it was that much.
Just keeps going.
I shouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, I am. Like that's a lot of games.
All right, so my game showcase game is Life is Strange True Colors, which is Life is Strange 3. Most
No spoilers.
Oh, of course, I would never. Genuinely, I would never. So most people on my friends list, of which podcast regulars, Koosh is the only one that has played it, so neither of you two have. But most people played it when it was on Game Pass. This is one that I was a dum-dum on, and I was like, oh man, I've had a year to play this game that I've wanted to play and have had downloaded. Let me wait until 2 days before and I'll just crank through all 10 to 12 hours. And then I got through chapter 1, and then life happened, and that was that. So it went on sale at some point not too long ago, and I picked it up from my vacation home in Turkey, and I've been playing it this week, and I really wanted to finish it. Not that I would spoil anything, of course, but I really wanted to finish it before recording. I'm literally on the last chapter, the last checkpoint of the last chapter. Like I have maybe 30 minutes, if that, 20, 15 minutes of gameplay left. I literally just have the last achievement to get for beating the game.
Man, how could you stop?
I'm right there. I
keep
just
going.
didn't have time. But yeah, I mean, if you have played any of the Life is Stranges or know what they are, it's the same concept. It's a story-driven narrative where the focus is very much... I'm going to sound a little repetitive. The focus is very much on the story and not the gameplay, so to speak. The gimmick in this one is that you are an empath. So in the first one, you could time travel. In the second one, you had force powers. In this one, you can read people's emotions, and then you can gather their thoughts from their emotions. So that's the power gimmick in this one. And it works quite well. Again, I won't spoil anything specific, but someone won't talk to you and they're angry. So you can read their emotion, you can find out they're angry and why they're angry, and then you go around the environment to find objects carry emotion with them. So you can find an object of theirs, and that object will have an angry story attached to it. And then you can use that to unlock the new dialogue to talk to the character and calm them down. And it works pretty well, honestly. I like it. It's not as... I'm going to restart that sentence. So in the first one, you could make a decision, and you could rewind if you wanted to change your mind. So you can't do that here. You only have one shot. So the stakes are a little higher, which I guess makes it more realistic and in line with the narrative. But I'll start with the negative. Really, my biggest complaint with the game, which I love games this style, by the way. I like the series. I know that's a controversial opinion around these parts, but my biggest complaint is that there have only been maybe like 5 major decisions. Like I feel like in the earlier games there were, 3 or 4 big decisions per chapter, and I think like we've gone through chapters without a major decision, which is a little disappointing. It just seems like they had like one story and didn't really want to deviate from that one story.
That's sad.
Yeah, it just feels, again, I'm enjoying the story, I'm enjoying the game. It just feels much more like I'm watching a movie than even the other ones did. There's not much for me to influence, I guess is how I can say that. That said, the game overall is much quicker, more streamlined. I feel like in 1 and 2, each chapter took me about 2.5, maybe even 3 hours, and these ones I'm going through in like less than an hour and a half. So just sort of
much shorter game.
the main plot, it's very streamlined. It's very quick.
That's not necessarily a bad thing.
It's positive and negative. Despite that though, I feel like there is, like, it still has a lot of fluff, if that makes sense. Like, again, I won't spoil anything, but chapter 3, there was no character development. There were no major consequences. That was just 90 minutes of, okay, cool, this happened, but like I don't really care about this. I want to go from what happened in chapter 2. Again, it's hard to sort of talk when I'm being vague. But like you could just completely cut chapter 3 out 100% and you wouldn't lose anything if you just played chapters 2 and then jumped to 4. So it doesn't have that high stakes feel that the other ones did, where every part was crucial to the plot. So that's disappointing.
So I played the first one. I love the first one.
Mhm.
I thought it was great. I actually wanted to play. Well, did I ever play it again? Yeah, I know I played it 2 times because I wanted to go through and like make all the opposite choices to see what would happen. I just lost my train of thought where I was going there. Oh, are these the same characters?
No, I guess.
Because number 2 continues with the same characters, correct?
No.
So I really enjoyed the first one. I never actually played the second one, even though I own it.
Yeah, okay, again, no spoilers here. I would never do that on a
Don't
story
spoil any of
game.
them.
So the first one, you're Max, and then your friend Chloe. And then they came out with a prequel, That's Before the Storm, where you play as Chloe. That might be what you're thinking of.
That's what I'm thinking
That was
of.
the second game, but it's a prequel to the first one. Life is Strange
That's
2,
the one I own.
You play as 2 brothers, and the only reference to the first game is they mention what happens in the first game in like a newspaper article or like on TV or something. Like it barely matters. And then in this one, True Colors, there is a character from Before the Storm that appears in True Colors. And again, I'm being very vague. So there's no direct continuity, but they're all, like, they do exist within the same universe.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Before the Storm, that's what I was thinking of.
Okay, yeah, that was the second game to come out, and it's a prequel to the first Life is Strange. So on a positive, despite the game being quicker and like the story kind of being fluff and filler, I feel like the character development is very well done, even if it is quicker. Like, Alex is your main character, and I really like her. I think she's written very well. Your 2 friends, it's not a spoiler to mention their names, I don't think. Ryan and Steph, I don't think that's a spoiler. They're very well designed. All the side characters are very well designed. Do I even want to say there's... I'll leave it. Basically, there's a story beat that I feel like I'm pretty good at picking up on such things, and that one actually caught me off guard. Sucks having to be so vague here. The characters are well designed and very well written. So I will give credit where credit is due. Even if the story itself is kind of by the wayside at times, the characters are in full focus throughout the whole thing, honestly. I do like that they put in some, like, I don't want to call them side quests, but like optional objectives. It's definitely not open world at all, but there's like the town. So instead of it being super linear, like, you're in this room, well, yeah, the story takes place in this room, but you can go explore the whole building if you want to. And if you choose not to, then you don't. Everything happens in that room. But if you want to go out and explore the town or the building, you can. And then there's other side objectives that you can do there, which will add to your playtime. But even doing those, I'm still only getting that 90 minutes. So if you just want to come in and just blow right through the story and ignore everything optional, you're probably looking at like 60 minutes per chapter. You can probably do this in 6 hours total. So it is quick, even with the side quests, but I appreciate that they are there. And then finally, the achievements. The achievements are pretty easy. There's find the collectibles, which there's only one of them that I think I genuinely wouldn't have found on my own. That one was tricky. It's in chapter 2. If you're going to play, maybe follow the guide for chapter 2 for the collectibles. I don't know. But collectibles and then side quests, which are very easy to find, and then just beat the chapters. It's a very easy 1,000 overall. The collectibles are missable technically, but then you can go into like chapter replay and collectible mode and find them. So nothing missable. And again, if you're just zipping right through the story and you don't care about any optional stuff, I just want my 1,000 gamer score. Honestly, you're probably looking at 6 hours here. But if you take your time with it and really experience what the game has to offer, I am at 12 hours, 38 minutes. And again, like I said, I'm super close to the end, so I'll probably do it in about 13.
You
Cool.
mentioned that this is a full price game.
Oh no, I did not even
I
talk
assumed
about
this
the
was
price.
cheap.
You're right.
I assumed
You're right.
that this would be like a $20, $30 game.
I think the first one
It's not?
Yeah, the
No, it's
first one was
$60.
25, I believe.
Holy crap.
And then the
I did not know
prequel
that.
was 20, and then Life is Strange 2 I think was maybe 40. But yes, you're right. This one was $60 when it came out. There's a bonus chapter in the
Right.
deluxe edition for 70. There's no achievements. It's also made by a different dev team, which I guess I should have mentioned,
Wow.
but I didn't think about
I
it.
mean,
Yeah, the other ones
I mean,
were Don't Nod, and this one is
That's
Deck
wild.
Nod.
the lowest price has been $23.99, which sounds reasonable.
Yeah,
That's not bad.
again,
for
go to your
game- for this
vacation
type of
home.
game.
I think I got it for like $6.
Yeah, a lot of people just don't do that. But I bet you this will be cheaper next week.
Oh, this will absolutely
Just a hunch.
go on sale 100%. It's been on sale plenty of
Screw-
times.
100%.
Square Enix games go on sale all the time, so that's good. Good on them.
Especially the Life is Strange series. They
Yeah.
all go on sale. And for something like a Black Friday, I think I picked up Before the Storm and its DLC ? If there was some, for like $10 or something like that.
Oh, you know what?
It's been a
Worth
while.
mentioning while we're talking about sales. Again, I wasn't going to go into the pricing, but since you brought it up, there's the Ultimate Edition, which is $80 at full price. And obviously it comes with...
What?
Hold on, hear me out. It comes with Life is Strange True Colors, obviously. It comes with the bonus chapter for True Colors, obviously, and it comes with some costume, or skins, rather. But for $80, you actually get the remasters of the first 2 games, Life is Strange and then Before the Storm, which I won't go into how absurd it was to remaster a game for the same generation. That's besides the point. But for $80, you do get 3 games, 3 1,000 achievement games. So if you can get the Ultimate Edition on sale and you like the series, you do get 3 games for 1 money.
I forgot there was a remaster. That is so stupid.
I won't go down that rabbit hole, but it's definitely one of the dumber remasters we've seen. But yeah, Life is Strange True Colors, I don't know why they didn't call it Life is Strange 3. I mean, the color ties into the gameplay, but like, why didn't they call Life is Strange 2, Life is Strange Boom or something like that? So I don't know, but yeah, it's the third mainline game.
True colors, because you see everyone's
Because you see everyone's emotions, right? Yeah, it ties in. It's clever, but why not just call it 3? I don't know, but it gets a thumbs up for me. If you're a fan of the series or the similar type of games, it is quicker. And I am glad you brought up price. I wouldn't pay $60 for it, but get it on sale. It is.
No, that's insane.
It's a good addition to the series.
And I haven't even played it.
I'm having a good time. Gets a thumbs up for me.
Like especially if you're saying the game is so short, that's a Like that's not a good thing when you're paying $60.
Right, in terms of length,
Hey,
that's
Modern Warfare 3
definitely
is
a downgrade.
$70, and that's a 3-hour game.
Yeah, that's comical. That's
What?
another conversation that we shan't dive down.
Oh, is that the? Well, no one plays the campaign with those games.
Okay, so just for quick
I feel
perspective
attacked.
here, just for quick perspective, I just said I'm about to beat True Colors for $60. Again, full price here. I didn't pay that, but full price is $60. I'm about to beat it in 13 hours. Life is Strange 2 was $35, and I got 17 hours out of that one. And then the first game was $25, and that one also took me 18 hours. So, yeah, the prices doubled or tripled, and the gameplay length was cut by about a third. So that is definitely a factor worth considering. So I am glad you brought that up.
Oh, cool.
Did you ever beat that game, Al? Has it popped up on your RTDL enough?
Which
Life is Strange 1, that is.
it's popped up like every month, and I still haven't beaten it.
That's what I thought. I wasn't sure.
I'm on episode 4 or 5, or they called episodes. I don't know, whatever you want to call them.
That is the
Chapters,
worst way
episodes,
to play this
yeah,
game.
whatever.
You have to
Dude,
just sit
I
down
know.
and play it.
And to make matters worse, I've done 360 and 1 versions up to like the same point.
Jeez.
But
man.
but I have done the thing that you wanted to do and made different choices on both of them to see how that works. So that's
Hey, all right.
That's been interesting.
That's a good way to go.
And I think
Yeah.
in that one, like in the first one, it really, really deviated the storyline.
There's some big changes
Yeah.
depending upon what you do.
Yep.
Because I know I chose some different options, and there's always like more options. And I went online and just looked at different ways that things could play out. Like that game has some big time differences on depending upon which way you choose and whatnot. They did a really good job with that type of a game. The Telltale style, whatever. I don't even know
Yeah, it's
what the technical word for this would be.
Good question.
style works.
Telltale game.
But wait, 2 is a prequel, right? You said?
No, 2
Before
is
the
its
Storm.
own game. Before the Storm is the second
there's
game
4
that
of
came
these
out.
now? Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna
Life
ask-
So
is
you
Strange.
have
In 2, does it take the save from 1?
Okay, so no spoilers.
Yeah,
when you
without
start
spoiling.
up Life is Strange 2, it will ask you, did you blank at the end of Life is Strange
Okay.
1? And if you played it,
Okay.
you can pick yes or no. If you didn't play it,
Oh.
then
Interesting.
you can still just pick yes or no. And then when I said earlier that is referenced in like a newspaper or a TV broadcast, just your answer to
that makes
blank
more sense.
happened or blank didn't happen.
That makes more sense because when you said that, I'm like, dude, that's like a big spoiler if you did one thing and not the
Okay,
other.
yeah. So anyone who finished the first one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, when you start up 2, did you do the thing or did you not do the thing? And then that's just referenced a little bit. That's it.
Yeah, because that really changes the outcome of the game.
All right, cool.
Finish the game, Al.
All
I don't
right,
know
I'll be
how
right
you
back.
do that.
I don't know, me neither. I'm trying.
For the
On some games, I can see
I'm
it, but
trying.
like this is such a story-heavy game.
for the
Yeah.
first one, I'll even say, L, if it motivates you in any way, I enjoyed the heck out of it. I enjoyed chapters 1, 2, and 3. It gets so good in chapter at like the end blew me away.
Is it?
Uh-huh.
Is
Uh-huh.
it? Boy, is it weird?
It's
if
really good.
Is it weird if I say that I enjoy the game, but also find the characters kind of insufferable?
No, not at all.
Does that make sense? Okay.
No, that makes
I
perfect
understand.
sense. I really like Bax from the first one, but I hate that she's friends with Chloe just because of Chloe's character, and yet I love the game and I
Yeah.
love them as characters.
Exactly. Right.
But all you want to do is like
Just-
just leave Chloe behind. And I know Elroy has talked about this in detail, his disdain for Max and Chloe.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely unique series.
Yeah, but again, yeah, the newest one, unless you count the remasters, True Colors, it gets a thumbs up from me. If you like the series, it's absolutely worth picking up. On sale, though. Definitely pick it up on sale.
Man, that game is 8 years old. Holy crap! Life is Strange. Yeah, Life is Strange. Good games are coming. They'll be on sale next week, I'm sure, for Black Friday. Which
I was going to say, speaking of games on sale next week, we are going to skip sales this week, and then we'll have a really good breakdown next week when the Black Friday sale picks up.
I see nothing worth mentioning.
Sales are very light this week. But in that case, so let's just go into Game Pass, and I believe Koosh and Frame will be doing a Games Passable this week. If not, so they'll be going over everything. If not, oops, it'll probably be next week. But out now on Game Pass is Coral Island, a simulation game.
Rumor has it they're recording it right now at the same time.
Really?
Which is why Koosh chose Brandon over us. Jerk.
Jerk face.
Jerk.
So yeah, assuming that gets edited in time, that'll be on this week. Coming on November 17th, Persona 5 Tactica, which I'm assuming this is a Persona game, but tactics form.
That is absolutely spot on. I'm just going to throw it out there. This is a huge...
If you know anything about it, go for it.
I mean, no, honestly, you got it. It is the Persona 5 cast, and the summary of the game is, they're ported into a mysterious world and a brand new storyline in the Persona universe, and it's tactics style, just grid-based. But this is a huge grab for Game Pass, because this is a new AAA Persona game made by the main, oh my gosh, brain fart, Atlas.
Atlas.
It's a full-blown $60 JRPG, $60 on Steam, $60 on PlayStation, free day one on Game Pass. Like that's crazy good value for Xbox players.
Yeah, like it's coming out everywhere on November 17th.
So
not like this is, first time on Xbox.
Right, yeah,
because,
exactly.
Like all the other Personas have been
you're
on
absolutely
PlayStation.
right. We got it years later.
And then we get it.
Yeah. No, day one, man.
Yeah.
Brand new Persona game. Day one for free. That's
this
awesome.
Is huge. Persona on Xbox was huge to begin with. Day one on Xbox, huge. On Game Pass, woohoo! That's a big get. That's awesome.
Thank you, Phil.
I personally am not a Persona fan, but like I understand the weight behind that.
Yeah, and see that's good.
Like I know Atlas has one or two other games coming.
I think we're getting the remasters.
That's not Persona. I forget what they're called.
Oh, are we? Okay, I was gonna say we're getting the Persona remasters day one for free as well.
I remember seeing a whole bunch of like Atlas on the.
Oh, nice. Okay.
One of the showcases.
We'll have to look.
Where it was, they were showing a whole bunch of like games that are coming to Game Pass, and coming to Game Pass, and then it had Atlas, and then it was something new. I think they're having like a new IP or something like that. But yeah, big. Yeah, that's awesome.
IP freely.
What are you gonna say, Al?
Nothing. What's the next game?
And next game on November 28th is Dune Spice Wars.
Not Doom.
Oh.
I know.
But Dune.
I know nothing about this.
Dune.
Yeah, Dune.
Like the movie.
Dune.
It's tied to the movie, right?
It's a real-time strategy game. Kenny, you'll like this.
Ooh, a 4X.
Ooh.
Shoot, it is a 4X.
What does that mean? It's faster?
Really?
I really have no idea.
4X is like the civilization where you can win by conquer, culture, science, and conquer, culture, science.
I've never heard
Economic?
of this.
Economic, yes, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, it just basically means there's different ways of winning.
That's awesome.
Essentially.
That's it. Actually, I had to look it up.
Have you never played?
No.
Have you never played Civ Rev?
Nope.
Oh man.
Okay.
You missed it.
Yeah,
now.
no, they're if you like the
Warcraft.
genre, they're good. 4X is a subgenre of strategy video games. The term is an acronym: explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate. Which again is what we just said. Sort of
That's
the
what it
different
is.
ways to
Yes.
win. It's just sort of.
I knew there was an alliteration there, but I thought it was all with C's.
Yep.
And then as I said the first two, I'm like, no, that's not it.
Yeah, it's just sort of 4X is the. Well, exactly what Kenny said. Actually, I'm not going to repeat him. It's just sort of that's what that means. It's that type of strategy where you have like options essentially.
Yeah, Age of Empires or Command and Conquer or Total Annihilation, something like that.
Oh
You
yeah,
just
AOE's a good example.
kill your enemy,
Yep.
win.
Okay. I learned something.
Civilization Revolution, multiple ways to win. You could never make an army and win the game.
If you know what you're doing.
Oh yeah. That's such a good game that I'll never be able to finish. And the last game that's coming to Game Pass, also on November 28th, is Roller Dome, which sounds amazing. I can't wait for that to at least try it. Excuse me. Leaving Game Pass. I just had a brain fart. I am so sorry. On leaving Game Pass on November 30th, we have Anvil, which the servers are shutting down on that. So, yeah, get that done. 3 games, which are actually a really big surprise. I don't know why these are going. If there was a news thing on it, I missed. Battlefield 1943, Battlefield Bad Company, and Battlefield Bad Company 2. They are all leaving the service, and they're all with EA Play.
Yeah, that's
And they're some of the highest regarded Battlefield games.
Especially Bad Company 2, like that's the one that put Bad Company on the map. Or put Battlefield on the map, I feel like.
I played 1943 and a little bit of Bad Company. Both those games are great. Yeah, I'm surprised to see that they're going. I don't know why they're being taken off.
I just pulled it up. The servers are closing, and they're just pulling them down from sale.
Oh, I did not know the servers were closing. That's sad.
So all the online achievements will be discontinued. There's some that are partially discontinued now that will be fully discontinued because you can get them by exploiting and, disk copy shenanigans, I guess. So, yeah.
All right, well, that's good to know. If you want to get those complete, do it now. Does it have a date of when they're going down?
Server closure, December 8th, 2023. So that makes sense. Remove them from the service a week before the servers go down permanently, basically. So,
yeah. Wow, that sucks. Well, you got a couple of weeks to do that.
I think some of them have DLC too, if I'm not crazy.
I'd be surprised if they didn't.
Oh man, doing some quick researching right now. Okay, never mind. The DLC is some of it has already been removed from the store. There's I'm talking Bad Company 2 here. There's an Onslaught mode add-on and a Vietnam add-on. Those appear to currently be available? Maybe?
Yeah. Either way, if they're games that you haven't completed and you want to get them complete,
time is
the time
ticking.
to do it.
Yeah,
you only
for
got about
sure.
3 weeks. We do have a server closure room in the Discord, so check that out. Maybe we can grab a group together.
Oh, they have already been
Be able to
removed from
complete 'em.
sale on the Xbox store. So if you don't own them, the only way to get them digitally is with EA Access for the next 2 weeks.
That makes sense.
So get on them if you want.
All right, and then the last 3 games that are leaving November 30th is Disc Room, Eastward, and Grid.
Yeah, Grid's another EA Play guy.
I was just going to say, I assume Grid's in the exact same boat as Battlefield.
Must be.
And then Disc Room and Eastward are just typical Game Pass losses, no shenanigans there other than their time is up. Disc Room on its own would be incredibly difficult. It's one of those, I guess, like Super Meat Boy, like you got to just be really good at it. Or it has some accessibility options that you can turn the speed down, and it makes it apparently trivial, and you can complete it in about 4 or 5 hours. And from my understanding,
Nice.
it's literally just play the game with no real challenge. Just takes you 4 or 5 hours. So that one's very doable if you haven't started it with the assists.
All right. Well, there you go. There's at least one game that you can easily complete.
Yeah.
So some good news with some leavings. But like we said, there'll probably be a Games Passable after this, and I'm sure Nate and Frame will break all that down for us. So with that, let's go ahead and get into our final segment, which is Bread Camp. And starting off in completions, we have Kitty Skies with 1,100 completed games. That's so many. And then Redemption Denied, blowing her and, let's be honest, everyone else out of the water with 3,350 completed games.
It's a lot of games,
for
Red.
Streaks, that's so many, man. For Streaks, Lego Head 1977 and Quantum Gray 17 are both on a 100-day achievement win streak. Way to go. Dunkos is on a 250-day. Retro Chief 1969 is on a 1,050-day. Morbid 237 1,600. Enigma Gamer 77 1,800-day win streak. And Bastion Reader on a 2,150-day win streak.
So long. I feel like every time I'm on, we get to the streak section, and I just gush over the longest streak. That's wild to me. Congrats
It's
to
insane.
you all, right? That's crazy.
There's a
Alright.
wild one coming up in about 6 weeks.
I think I know what you mean. So gamerscore. Facial LaFleur. I feel like I haven't heard that name in so long. Facial LaFleur, 750,000.
All right, good job.
XL. The Rock. LX. 900,000. Chewie on Ice, 1.4 million. Kitty Skies, 1.5 million. X Magic Monkey X, 2 freaking million gamer score. Mental Knight 5,
Nice.
my least favorite person in the Discord, Mental Knight 5, 2.7 million. And Red, with all these crazy milestones, 4.2 million. I did not misspeak. That is a 4,200,000, which is a lot of points, man.
Mind-boggling.
As long as games continue to come out, this will happen.
He continues to play them.
How do you just not get bored?
In leaderboards, Ace is in the top 5,000 of the TA leaderboard for Xbox Game Pass, which is, I think I've mentioned, is an interesting one because it actually goes according to stuff coming and leaving Game Pass. The leaderboard adjusts accordingly. It's very interesting.
Okay.
That's such a good leaderboard.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
I love it.
By 571 is now in the top 100 of the Wisconsin Gamerscore leaderboard. Domain in the top 50 of the Washington Gamerscore leaderboard for third-person shooters. Jay Black in the top 10 of Canada TA leaderboard for MMO. Wait a minute. Number 1 of Nova Scotia. Classic
God.
Classic Dynable. Nova Scotia True Achievements leaderboard for MMO. Number 1. Good job, Jables. Very nice. Kitty Skies is third in Wales Gamerscore leaderboard. Kooshmoose in the top 10 of Maryland completed games leaderboard for Xbox Game Pass. Wow. That's pretty darn good.
That is pretty cool, actually.
Nice.
Wow. And in Brad Camp, nobody tagged me, so I'm very sad. So tag me. I want to read some fun brags, some completions. If you complete anything, just tag me. I want to read it. Tell me about your game.
Can I just
Your own special
Can I just
brags.
gush over Redemption Denied for a little bit? I pulled up his
No.
page here. So 4.2 million gamer score, right? But despite all of that, he has a 94.9% completion using the correct setting and a 1.7 ratio. So, like, he plays all the baby games, but he also plays the real games.
Crazy.
I'm gonna have to look him up and see what his actual completion percentage is. Hold on.
What is it with the incorrect setting? It's still going to be hella impressive.
Yeah. Oh, it's down to 30%. Oh well.
Oh, you know what? I can.
I can never remember how he spells.
Oh no, I can't.
Which letter is missing?
Red Oomption.
Red Ocean. Denied. Okay, I see 92.8. What did you say?
94.9.
Okay.
Still 92.8.
I bet you we
With
both see
that
number
many games,
one
that
in,
much score.
I bet you we both see number one on TA site rank.
Yes, we absolutely see that. I think
Yeah,
number one in TA and Gamerscore. Yes, he is.
We'll have to get him on the podcast when he hits 5 million.
For sure. By a hefty margin, actually, in TA and Gamerscore.
It's true. It is true.
All right. But yes, good job everyone on your achievements, win streaks or whatever. Crazy, some of you some of y'all just absolutely blow me out of the water. It's just crazy. Mind-boggling, some of your feats. Good job. But yeah, that will do it for us this week. Thank you all for listening. Be sure to check out the show notes. That has links to our Discord and YouTube and all the goodies in there. But yeah, thank you all for listening. Class is dismissed.
Not yet.
See y'all next week.
Not yet. Top 3 blue-haired waifus. Number 3 Aqua. Number 2 Hatsune Miku. And number 1 Rem. Of course.
As Steph. Oh. Bye.
See ya.
Top 3 haikus. Bye. Bye 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 bye. Okay, there.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of Game Passible, your home for all the Game Pass goodies and publisher analytics regarding our favorite subscription service. I am once again Freemhole and joined by my favorite co-host, Kooshmoose. How you doing?
Hello. Doing well.
Fantastic. So we're going to break down this Xbox Newswire post to help you optimize this Game Pass experience. We are now in our mid-month update, and so we've got a game to showcase, and we're going to talk about all the games that came out in November. Since last episode, we talked about stuff leaving into January. So we'll stop with the stuff that's leaving and get to the stuff that just came in. But we do have to talk about the immediate stuff that's leaving. Koosh, this was quite the list here, and of a lot of surprises for me. I wasn't really expecting all this EA Play stuff, but I feel like I should have.
Yeah, and luckily we got it ahead of time too. Like normally this would be like they gave us like a tiny bit of a head start. So
yeah, so let's start with the Battlefield stuff. So I totally missed this, and I guess I wasn't really tracking EA Play stuff too closely, but I guess back in March they told us that these games were going to close. And so, yeah, I guess it makes sense to take them out of EA Play if they're no longer to be playable. So Battlefield 1943, Bad Company, and Bad Company 2, servers are going down on December 8th. So, makes sense. Get them out of the service. The one I didn't see coming that was leaving EA Play, though, was Grid. In terms of racing game, are we speculating that that's a music license thing, possibly?
Possibly.
That thing has been in all of these. Like I said, these existed before Game Pass existed, except Grid. Grid's only been in there for 28 months, but all the Battlefields came along into EA Play as part of the EA Vault, and so EA Play existed before Game Pass, and so they got grandfathered in once Game Pass, approved EA Play. So technically, this is 83 months, 72 months, and 67 months, but that doesn't really mean anything because it's just all server-based closures, which is a bummer. But nothing lives forever.
Did you catch that they snuck Rocket Arena in as well?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So like last week or so, I noticed they snuck Rocket Arena being removed from EA Play as well, and that server is like, the multiplayer part of that is pretty much dead and has been dead for a long time. So we might be talking about a server shutdown too. I don't believe they've announced that, but they definitely have announced it's leaving at the end of the month from EA Play.
Okay. Perfect. Let's just stay on the server closure train. We talked about this last episode. Anvil, we had said on their Discord that they were shutting down services on December 31st. So I guess we just pegged, hey, that'll be the day. Well, it turns out it's this month. And I guess if I thought a little bit more about it, that makes sense because they did say in their post it will be removed from sale on November 30th, which if you can't buy it, why would you have it in Game Pass? So totally makes sense that it's gone on November 30th. So you'll have that 1 month if you want to buy it and spend the last month of December cleaning it up. But I'm guessing if they're shutting things down, they've got some financials to get in order, and so they can't be having it on the service any longer. So I guess technically that snuck up a month, but I think any level-headed person who's going to go after that realized that time was pretty short in general.
Quick correction, actually, I said end of month. It's the 14th. That's today. So Rocket Arena gone.
Is gone.
It's even shorter than we thought. It's gone.
Sneak attack.
You missed it.
That's a bummer. The last two that we had, we actually did mention these Eastward. We talked about in episode 3 of our show, which is 273 of your show?
I believe so.
Perfect. We did a bit of a games showcase on that one. Since then, I've put significantly more time into it. Still enjoy it. It's quite fun. I'm hoping to get that thing done. It sucks that I have to kind of follow a guide to make sure I don't miss any of the treasures and or foods, but it's not taken away from the game at all. So I'm digging that. And then Discworld. We had Discworld marked for December because it was the 18-month mark. Okay, so it's 2 weeks early. This is another one that I think is probably going to be pretty popular for people to finish because there's like some accessibility options. That's a tricky word.
Yeah, they should just call it easy mode. It's much easier to say.
Have you tried that at all yet?
I have not, but I've been eyeing it
Mm-hmm.
ever since I saw this news this morning. I just started looking at the guide for it, and it looks like you can tune it pretty well. It's still 4 to 5 hours with that tuning, but you can make it easier.
Yep, I'm initiating the download as we speak. So all right. Well, we're not going to go into much of the recap stuff from the previous month. We'll just say, hey, we had Eastward as a high probability leaving in November. Guess what? It's gone. Disc Room, I had it at a medium-high level in December. Okay, it's up a couple of weeks earlier than Anvil we already talked about. And so we're going to get into a game showcase right now because there's a game that I think is leaving here in December. I said there's a chance it was going to leave at the end of this month. The chance increases because it's a tiny build published game. That game is called Potion Craft Alchemist Simulator. And if the main show had done their job correctly, this is the game that I said would best represent my job if it was a real life. And people were like laughing at it. And Fug said, no, like legit, that's Freem's job. I'm a chemist, if you guys didn't know. And so I thought, hey, cool, this might be kind of fun. I'm always kind of on the fence with simulation management games because they can get super grindy and in the weeds. This one stays much more surface level, in terms of systems and things, but I will warn you ahead of time, there is some significant grind toward the end of this. This game was developed by Nice Play Games, and it launched into Game Pass last December on the 13th. So I'm guessing we got our 1 year mark, and this thing is going to be out of here. You can play this on your consoles or your PC. I'm going to tell you right now, I highly recommend using a keyboard and mouse with this thing because of the tuning and the controls with the mouse. Touchpad works, but it's not great. The completion estimate is 30 to 35 hours. I've put in 40 hours. Now, granted, I've left it open at work a significant amount of time, but in my 40 hours, I've got 21 of the 29 achievements. The nice thing is they're pretty much all story-related achievements. Everything's single-player. It's all a single-player game, and there's nothing that's missable. You can't lock yourself out of any sort of these achievements, even the ones where you have to get your popularity all the way to 0, like be an evil person and be a good person. You can do that in the same game by swinging how people like you. So let's talk about what this game actually is, okay? Top-level story. You're this alchemist in kind of this medieval Renaissance time, and you move into a house that's got a magic tree in the backyard, and so you set up shop out of your home. Easy as that. It's got this cool cel-shaded art style. It's kind of like it looks like if you're looking at one of those like old Da Vinci artwork, that washed sepia, but then there's some splashes of color. Interesting art style. The game is actually pretty funny too. They have some clever dialogue with some of your customers, and it's a super simple, mechanically based game. The game is set up in 5 screens, so if you think of it like a D-pad, your main screen is where your alchemy map is, and then if you go up, it's your bedroom. You go to the right, it's your magic tree. The basement is got some later gameplay things, and then your left is your storefront. And so really, ultimately, what you're doing is customers come in and they'll say something to you. Like, I took an example here. This person comes up and is like, I got a delivery of firewood, but it's all damp and it won't even burn. Is there a way to dry it out? And so sometimes, they're pretty obvious usually of what people are looking for. And like this one, it's like, okay, gosh, what do I have that make things burn? Oh, I have a fire potion. I'll have to brew up a fire potion. So you either have one in your inventory or you go over to your alchemy page and brew up a potion. The actual mechanics of brewing a potion, this is where it's the bulk of the gameplay is. You start off with you've got 4 pieces of equipment in front of you. There's your cauldron, which is where all the ingredients go into. You got a mortar and pestle, bellows, and then this little thing to add more of your diluent. You start off with water, so you've got this water potion sitting in the middle of your screen. The screen is like it looks like a map, like a treasure map, and in the different cardinal directions, you've got kind of the elements. So if you go north, it's air. If you go east, it's water. South is earth, and west is fire. And then in between the north-northwests, you've got magic and death and life, and the other one's explosion, which is weird. Is fire and air, I guess, make explosion, whatever. And so, when you start off, you've got this fog of war covering your whole grid, your whole map. And so until you start putting herbs into your cauldron and moving your potion around on this treasure map, you won't be able to see what's in this fog. You won't know where any of the potions are. Now, all the potions are static, so in theory, you could just look up a map online and know where everything is. Where's the fun in that? That's kind of lame. But if you kind of understand what people are looking for, maybe you can tailor your herbs and whatnot into that specific range. So let's talk about this fire potion. Okay, so I know fire is off to the west of my treasure map. So there are different herbs and mushrooms and all these ingredients that you have that do different things with your little potion. So you got your potion in the middle, and when you put the herb or you highlight it, it'll show you with this dashed line that ends in an X where your potion is going to end up on the grid. If you put that herb into the mortar and pestle, you can make that dotted line go further by grinding it up and then putting that into the cauldron. So, for instance, there's this flame weed. Okay, the flame weed, it's a dotted line that kind of makes like a waveform. So it starts and it goes down and up, down and up, down and up. And so if you just put the herb in by itself, it just goes down and up, and it ends in essentially a U shape, a small U. But if you grind it up, you can make that wave go 4 times. And so you can get further along in your path than just adding the herb by itself. At any time when you add this to your little cauldron, you can stir the cauldron and move your potion along the dotted line. As you move along, there's like experience points to pick up along the way, and that'll help you, level up your character, do some stuff later on. Or you can just leave it to the end and just make these dotted lines go all over the place, and then at the very end, you just start stirring like crazy, and it'll follow the line. And then once you find where your potion is, because they'll have these silhouettes of potions on the grid. Once you touch that, you can pump the bellows, and if you heat it up to a certain temperature, poof, you make a potion. And so each potion, depending on how well you match that little silhouette. So if you just touch it, you're a weak potion, level 1 tier potion. If you are like, I think it's like 75% covering the circle, it goes up to a level 2 potion, and if you freaking nail this thing right in there perfect, you can make a strong level 3 potion. And that's really obviously the main goal to do all these things, is to get these top tier potions. And so you have to kind of play around with a bunch of the herbs and do some things by mixing at certain rates, and so just moving your mouse slowly to make sure that you dial it in just perfect. And then once the little 3 shows up on your potion, then you've got the strongest potion, and then bam, you crank the bellows and poof, a potion shows up. And so then you get to go next door back to your storefront and say, oh, okay, here's my fire potion, and you put it on the little scale, and the person will put a bunch of money on there to say, hey, this is exactly what I wanted. Awesome, thanks. And you can either sell it to them or you can haggle with them. And the haggling mechanic is a pretty basic mechanic. It's just this little slide bar that goes left and right. And you can go from very easy to very hard. And so very easy, you can get a 20% extra profit and not risk anything. But if you go very hard, you can get 50% more profit, but you might also sell it at a 30% discount if you fail the haggling. And the thing moves super fast left and right. So honestly, if you hit medium, you just click, and pretty consistently make some good money. I don't even bother dealing with the customers anymore in terms of haggling with them. Their money's no big deal. Who I do haggle with is the people in between customers who show up and sell me different herbs, stuff that doesn't show up with my magic tree. Are you following this, Koosh? Because there's a lot I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, I'm lost. It sounds a lot like alchemy.
There's a lot going on here. And ultimately, the loop is pretty simple. A person comes in, says, this is what I want, and you go to your little map and you try to find it on your little treasure map. You put herbs into your little thing, stir it up, follow the dotted line to where that potion is, make the potion, and sell it for a profit. That's your baseline gameplay. It's more complicated because on the map, there's these dead zones. And so if your potion touches a dead zone, your potion breaks. And so you have to maneuver through these little corridors and things. And, like I said earlier, different herbs and fungi and in alchemy ingredients do different things. And so you can, find ways to navigate through your little map. Later on, you'll come up with a different base, and so there's an oil base instead of a water base, and that opens up some other different potions and things. So the game is super fun, and you get a ton of stuff pretty early. The achievements and levels come pretty darn quick. Where the issue comes is The end game, if you're a completionist, this is where the grind jumps in. There's an achievement for completing each level of, they call it the Alchemist path, and that's each chapter in the book. And it's just a checklist. So when you start off, it's like, make a healing potion, make a mana potion, make a light potion, make a acid potion, make a poison potion. It's all these like basic potions that you'll find pretty close to the center of your little circle. And then get to popularity level 8. Get to use your mortar and pestle one time. Super basic stuff. So you just fly through all these chapters. You pretty much go through chapters 1 through 6 like within the first month of each day. Each thing is broken up into a day. So within like 30 iterations, you're through the first 6 chapters, no problem. The problem lies is the popularity scale continues to increase every time you reach a new level. So, for instance, I'm currently at level 11, and once you from 10 to 11, you need 500 popularity. From 11 to 12, you need 750. Then you need 1,000. Then you need, and it's not that you need to go from 750 to 1,000. You need another 1,000. So overall, I'm at like 800 total collective popularity, which means I'm going to need to sell like 900 top tier potions to get to level 15. And now, granted, it's pretty quick. You get 8 to 10 customers a day. Their things get a little complicated at times, but if you find a recipe that you can make pretty consistently, or like you get to where you've lined up your potion perfectly, you can save that pathway and it'll automatically brew it for you if you choose. So you can streamline a lot of this stuff, but just the fact that you have to do the same thing 900 more times when I'm pretty much done with the game, that's where the grind is like, oh boy, this is a bummer that you have to go this deep into it. There is some other side stuff that needs to go on. Like you have to create these special ingredients and potions and actives, and that helps progress I'll say story. To make you a better alchemist, there's these things. When I said the basement, you've got this weird like contraption in the basement that you make some specialty ingredients, and that's where you make some really wacky potions. So like you might have to combine 5 different ingredients, but they all have to be in the same potion, which might mean you're traveling from the east across the north over to the west and hitting like 5 different spots. So you end up putting in like a crap ton of herbs into this thing, and it can get really complicated. And then you got to make those like 3 or 4 times, because you consume the ingredients when you level them up. And so to continue to make them, you have to remake them. So I've been saving those potions, but I look at the ingredient list and it's out of control. So completion, tough. Gameplay, super fun. Like I said, super recommend mouse and keyboard with this. And the fun little pathway that these potions take, super enjoyable. Like I like doing that stuff. It just wears out its welcome by the time you're going for that completion. Where did I lose you?
Well, you've convinced me not to play it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like way too in depth for my taste. I like this is your sword, this is your ranged.
Yep.
That's more my speed. I kind of like this map aspect to it, so I'm gonna have to watch some gameplay. It's hard to hear it and be like, yeah, that's a thing I totally want to do. But if I see gameplay loop, possibly.
Totally understand that, and I think it as you get into it, like you're learning a lot at the beginning as you're uncovering your map, and if you don't cheat, obviously, if you're uncovering the map normally and you're like, oh, I wonder what's over there, or oh, I should go travel my thing up this way and maybe I'll find something. And as you progress and different vendors come in with some unique raw materials, you're like, oh, this one does some really cool things with the pathway. Oh, I can get to some new places that I wasn't able to get to before. So that's always fun. That's exciting. Like the learning and the exploration part of the map. It's once like I have both maps fully open, and so now it's just like I know where everything is, and I just got to get the resources to get to them. And that's what's kind of a grind, is because some of them, you have to buy pages for your recipe. So like you only want to save the recipes that are like you're pretty confident that you can keep the raw materials for, and you need to make them consistently. So like, I don't make a lot of hallucination potions. So like, how do I need to save that? And then if I save the wrong combination, will I run out of that herb? And then I have to wait till the vendor shows up to buy some more. So it's those kind of like late game things that get complicated, but certainly that initial. So if you don't care about completions, you can, within 10 to 15 hours, you'll get 400 or 500 gamer score and have fun doing it. It's at that point you're like, oh, I get the game, and you can put it down and be happy with it. But if you want to go for that completion, you're looking at 40 to 50 hours minimally.
Yeah, I have this problem with RPGs and the like, where I get all the stuff, but then I never want to spend it because you never know when you're going to need it. And then you get to the end of the game and you have everything in the game, plus the kitchen sink, and you could have been using stuff all along. This would just, I feel like this would just kind of aggravate or activate that issue I have.
It does sometimes, totally.
Yeah,
because there's some like your magic tree replaces herbs every day, but they're kind of like the special, like the basic herbs. And so when the dudes come in with special herbs, they're like, those special herbs travel so much further on your map, and so you want to use them because they're efficient. But then if that dude doesn't show up and sell them to you for a good price, it's like, you run out of raw materials faster than you need to. Now I'm at the point now where buying herbs is not an issue. Like, I have so much money that it's absurd. I just need to execute on people's needs, and so just sit down and do it. I got distracted by something shiny, so
yeah,
I
know that.
doing that. One thing I will add, there's talk on the internet about adding a third base, like an alcohol base. So we've got water, oil is in the game, and there's talk on the internet about alcohol base, which potentially could be DLC, which could potentially add achievements. Again, this is all just rumor on the internet, but this could be one of those that leaves Game Pass in a month, and then 6 months afterwards is like, hey, here's a $5 DLC with new achievements. Just throwing it out there as a possibility. All in all, I'd say, achievements aside, this game's a 4 out of 5 for me. Maybe even a 4.5 out of 5. That achievement grind for a completionist at the end drops her probably to a 3.5, just because it overstays its welcome for a completionist. Again, if you don't care about completionism, then I highly recommend you give it a shot and play around with it because it's cool and it's fun. It's unique. I'll say that. It's definitely unique. And similar to my job. Although I don't use herbs, I use other chemicals.
It was funny to me that you're like, this is just like my job, and I leave it open at my job.
Yeah, I'm learning. So that's Potion Craft, an alchemist simulator. Like I said, I think this has a relatively high probability of leaving in December at the 1-year mark. Tiny build tends to have a 12-month shelf life, so I'm going to have to get some work done after Eastward, of course. But we've got all these new games coming into service, Koosh, that I'm kind of excited about. We're going to quick talk about the games that came in during the month of November. A few of these I've played. A few of these are on my list. But, Koosh, is there anything here that jumps out at you that you're eyeballing?
Well, I always like the cute games. I guess they're called cozy games, right? Apparently, I like the look of cozy. I don't play them all, But Coral Island, when I saw that, I thought, okay, this is something I might want to play. But there are no achievements. I'm not going to waste my time with that.
Yep.
Once they were added not too long ago, I thought, okay, maybe now's the time to check it out. So that's on my maybe list.
Yeah, and we flagged that as like a potential leaving because it was a PC only, but then it was like, hey, listen, no, it's going 1.0, and now that the console release is out, now I will say this date, November, this might now start the 1-year clock on Coral Island. So if you're thinking completion, now simulation management games tend to stay a little longer in the service, so you might be able to, it might stretch out, but throwing that out there.
1 year I can probably deal with, yeah. If this was going to be in like 2 weeks, I don't think I would, I don't think I'd even try it.
The same thing happened with Dune Spice Wars, where you got the console release. The PC's been in there for about, a year, 18 months or so. And now we're getting the console release finally. So this is probably starts the clock for the 1 year mark.
And with Dune, I probably wouldn't do anything unless there were console commands. A lot of times when I check out these games, I just look at the screenshots.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, just by the interface, I can tell I don't like this or this is not for me.
Totally.
And so, like, just like when I was looking at Potion Craft and I'm looking at Dune, I'm like, yeah, this might not be for me. So I'm not really feeling that. Roller Drome, the cel-shaded look of this kind of like a skating shooter looks like something that I would definitely try. So I'm kind of hoping there's more on that.
I've heard Leo Vader talk about that game on the MinMax podcast, and it's like Tony Hawk meets GoldenEye. And so in order to reload your gun, you have to do a trick.
Yes.
And that's how you reload. And yeah, he says he loves it. It's definitely on my radar. I think it's going to be cool.
Did they mention anything about was that the PC version they were talking about?
Presumably, I'm sure that they're pretty much all Steam.
Gotcha. Yeah. So they're probably not interested in the achievements.
Nope.
So I don't know how, we don't know too much about that. I think at this point, like could that be a tough completion? Possibly, so we're not sure.
Yeah.
I've heard someone on the Discord, the H101 Discord, has already completed Dungeons 4. And that game actually looks different than what I thought, because I thought the Dungeon series was kind of like a Diablo.
Sure.
And I think this one's not so much that. I think this one's more like a turn-based. So I'm going to pay more attention to that. I'd like to try that. I assumed that I would try that, but I'm going to have to look at that one. But nothing here just like is an absolute, I have to play this right now. Thirsty Suitors, I'm interested in checking out.
Yeah.
But it looks like one of those that I'm just not sure that I'll try it and I'll be like, I'll regret it. So
I'm kind of feeling the same way. Like when I initially saw it, I was like, oh yeah, put that on my list. And then I kind of watched it some more and I'm like, maybe. Maybe. So I think I'm going to wait a little bit to watch some more significant playthroughs to just see if I really do vibe with it. It's super unique, super cool looking. So I love that they're taking a chance on it. I just don't know if I'm going to vibe with it.
Yeah, I like how out of the box it is, but maybe it may not be for me, but I like that there's a box out there for that type of game to exist.
What do you think about Wild Hearts, the EA Monster Hunter thing? It's jumping into EA Play. Do you think we can convince any of our normal gaming groups to do some Monster Hunter type stuff?
I think that's the only way that I would play this.
That's where I'm at too.
In a group. So, I mean, we're 50% of the way there, right?
Yeah. So certainly closer.
I think we could do it. We could trick them. We trick them into some other things. So,
there are 2 games that were released this month. Now, technically, one of them released on Halloween, so I'm kind of cheating here a little bit, but they are straight up Freem games. The one that's releasing later in the month, the end of the month, Persona 5 Tactica. Look, I'm not even a big Persona fan. I didn't even touch the RPGs. I mean, I've heard great things about them, and I'm sure they're cool. But, dude, give me a tiles turn-based game. You better believe I'm going to play Persona 5 Tactica. But I've recently got it into War Tales, which is another one of these turn-based grid type games. So this thing is like, it's getting updates constantly. Like it is like, it came in hot, and it feels like an early access game, but the achievements are all there. And some people have complained about save issues. I have not had any issues. I will admit, though, my PC cannot run this game well. So I have it on like potato settings, and it still chugs. But this thing can be a graphical powerhouse if you really wanted to. You control a party of like medieval dudes, and you travel around this map doing, side quests and things. Listen, it's not Baldur's Gate 3, right? But there are some RPG elements. You can make some choices and things. You get to end up controlling. There's an achievement for having a group of 20 in your turn-based thing, and so like these battles can get completely out of hand. I'm running around right now with 15 people, and it can take some serious time to get through these battles and things. But listen, man, I like me some turn-based combat. I'm not gonna lie to you. Listen, I'm always interested in the Like a Dragon Yakuza franchises. I think they do good work, and they're neat, and they do a lot of fun, crazy things. I started Yakuza 0 and made it about 4 hours in, and I was like, I think this will be cool. There's a lot here. And now we're on, this would be like the 12th in the series. The Man Who Erased His Name, which just came. So I was like, yeah, I would probably enjoy myself, but I do feel obligated to finish Yakuza 0 and then probably do something else. But, on my list. And Football Manager, no thanks.
No thanks.
No thanks. And then the last thing is Spirit Tea, which another management game. Looked neat. Has some like yokai vibes to it, where you're conversing with dead entities and running a tea shop. It at least piqued my interest. I need more information, specifically like how hard the achievements are. I think that'll tip my hand one way or the other, but I'm at least vaguely interested in running a little ghost tea hut.
Yeah, I hear that. I was not drawn in by the graphics.
No.
I was not drawn in by the 15 achievements.
No.
And I was definitely not drawn in by the management. So I'm going to need someone to tell me I have to play this.
Totally.
Yeah.
Did you play Stardew Valley at all?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
I did not.
So, and that's like people love that freaking game. And,
yes, they do. And they've lost their lives to it.
Totally.
So I feel like I made the right choice.
That's where I'm at too. And it's like, so I'm hearing the comparisons to like Stardew. It's like, oh, well, people like that. Will I like it?
Mm-hmm.
I say with heavy questioning.
So like Graveyard Keeper was like supposed to be like the closest thing to Stardew Valley, right? And I started that, and I just, I didn't get too far into it. I didn't get drawn into it. So I think that I may not have those issues. This may not be a game genre for me.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm hit or miss on sim management. So make me some potions. Yeah. Run a farm. No.
And going back to your Like a Dragon, I sort of feel like I need to be told this is the game to jump in on. Like, right? Because the series is so long, and I had this issue where I kind of want to play a series, from beginning to end, especially if I really like one thing. Because one of the things I hate is degradation of controls and degradation of like features.
Totally.
So if I play like the 5th game and I have to then go back to 0 in this series, when you lose all those quality of life and when you lose all those extra features, it just kind of hurts unless like you're totally in love with the series. And so I know people are really into Like a Dragon and Yakuza. So I need someone to tell me this is a good starting point, and it's also a good just by itself, and just continue, pick and choose.
Yeah.
I need someone to tell me that. And I'll tell you what, the TA screenshots are garbage for this game. It's 2 pictures like 5 times, and I hate it when they do that on TA, and it tells you nothing.
No, yeah,
and yeah, it's not gameplay. It's just close-ups. It's just horrible. So I have
that's
no
funny.
idea.
I'm talking out of my league here because I haven't played many of them or any of them. I hear Yakuza 0 because it's 0, right? It's the start of Kiryu's story, so it's hard to go wrong there. And people are like, yeah, no, that's a pretty good one because it was made after, Yakuza 6, I think? And then they went, or maybe 5, and then they went back to 0. Anyway, so I think Yakuza 0 is the right one to do. And that's Kiryu's story. Like a Dragon, or Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is Yakuza 7, where they introduce, and I forgot his name. That's the turn-based one. That's a good starting point because that's a new Ichiban. That's a new one. A new protagonist. Now, granted, Kiryu shows up, but Ichiban is in that, and so that's its own story. So that's a good starting point. And then the third is kind of a standalone, is the Like a Dragon Ishin, which is ancient, it uses the same characters, but it's ancient Japan. And so it's kind of a standalone thing. So those are the 3 that if you don't want to be burdened by Kiwami 2, Yakuza 3, Yakuza 4, Yakuza 5, Yakuza 6, Song of Life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's out of control.
Right.
It is totally
totally out of control.
So that is my understanding of the series, and what I think that's almost exclusively Giant Bomb telling me. So I think that's about it for this episode. We kind of dragged on there at the end. Jaw-jacking about games that are entering the service, but any last minute things you want to? What are you finishing up? You gonna finish Eastward? You think you'll get that done?
I feel like I have to. I feel like I have to finish Eastward, or at least put more time into it, because I don't think I gave it its fair shake.
Sure.
So from the news that we've gotten, I think I'm going to put a little more time into Eastward to figure out if I'm going to do it or I'm going to buy it and leave it on the backlog, and I'm thinking about Discworld, Disc Room. I think I will check that out and see if that's worth 4 or 5 hours. It probably is.
Mm-hmm.
So those are my 2.
I get like Smash TV vibes from it with the, and actually a little bit of Despot's game, even though that's an auto-battler. This is much more of an action-based game, but you've got like that room where crazy stuff happens, and then you pick a direction to go, and new crazy stuff happens, and you've got to kill everything before the door opens, whatever. I will heavily rely on accessibility for sure.
Yes, that and the walkthrough. There's a walkthrough, so I'm going to be checking that out.
Awesome. Cool, man. Well, it's good chatting with you. That I think will do it for this episode 5, mid-November 2023 Game Passible show. We'll talk at the beginning of December. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving, and see ya.
All right.
Hello and welcome back to NeverEnding Stories, a short segment where I challenge patrons and staff members to go back and complete their long uncompleted stories and campaigns. Joining me once again with his now 3rd of many NeverEnding Story completions is Hurricane Dale.
Hello, it's great to be back again. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's almost like we were just talking a few minutes ago about The Witcher.
Oh, now we're peeking behind the curtain a little bit, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, you've been smashing through these. I think you've done, on average, 2 or 3 a month. So the pace of completions to the pace of being able to record is a bit off.
It's getting out of hand a little bit, absolutely.
the podcast backlog is growing, but no matter. That's it's a good problem to have, because it's great to have these little chats and the content for the listeners. Hopefully they enjoy it.
Yeah, it'll be nice to have the segment going into 2026.
Oh my god, it'll be weird because I had a cutoff of the year for the stories to be, relevant, because some people are completionists and we're like running into like, well, yeah, but you started this like 6 months ago, so it's not really a muffed, like an old completion.
Yeah.
But by the time the podcasts come out, it very much will be, right? So it'll be like, oh, you completed this 4 years ago. Anyway, what game are we going to talk about this time?
So today we're going to talk about Mortal Kombat 10. Which, as the name implies, it's the 10th Mortal Kombat. Shocking.
Well, styled as Mortal Kombat X.
Yeah, that's because X is cool, like Roman numerals and all that.
Yeah, and it's kind of like aggressive, isn't it? X.
Oh, absolutely. Which the whole game is. The whole game is aggressive. Yeah, for anyone who's played a Mortal Kombat game before, or I guess whoever hasn't played a Mortal Kombat game before, it's pretty much the most violent fighting game you can find ever. And I believe it's probably the most popular franchise of that genre, which someone who plays a lot of fighting games is probably screaming at their phone or whatever they listen to their podcast on right now.
I feel like for fighting purists, it's not the best, but in terms of like culture and recognition, brand recognition, and kind of into like successful media franchises and things, it's definitely, I would say, the most recognized.
Yeah, totally. I imagine that's just because of the heavy violence and all the controversy it had when it first came out.
That probably kicked it off, but it does have what I would say is a stronger sense of world building and character and story and lore than some other fighting games.
Oh, absolutely.
That's my perception. Yeah. So Mortal Kombat X, as you say, 10th Mortal Kombat game, released in 2015, April 2015. You started it a few years later, 2018. Is it a series that you have history with? Were you like looking forward to playing this one?
I've played a handful of Mortal Kombat games in my life. Like the first couple I played were on the original Xbox, which was Deadly Alliance for anyone who's played any of the other ones.
I loved that one. That was a good one. Yeah.
So that was sort of my first dip into it. Then I played Deception, which was the next game that released, which was probably my favorite Mortal Kombat game ever. And then I don't think I've played another one until Mortal Kombat 10 came out, which was fantastic. I heard it had a story mode. I found it really cheap in our local EB Games, which is the equivalent to like GameStop or something like that. And I picked it up. I played the story mode. I thought it was fantastic. I only got about a quarter of the way through it and then completely dropped it.
Yeah. In September 18, you did about 12 achievements, none of which were story-based, as far as I can tell. And then you dropped off it for about 4 years, came back in July 22. And yeah, you got the 50% story achievement at that point. So maybe you had done a bit of story before, but you got to the halfway point in July last year. And then again, you dropped it. You didn't complete the story. It's not a long story, is it? Particularly?
Not really.
Or is it? Is it actually quite involved?
I think it's about 20 chapters, and each chapter has about 3 fights. So I mean, it's not particularly
that's
long.
Quite not huge, but also not just like the old like Mortal Kombat ladder. 10 fights in a tournament,
and then the boss right at the end.
Yeah, and around that, there's lots of cutscenes and stuff going on, actual story content, isn't there? That's interesting. Okay, and then you came back in April of this year, and Bish Bash Bosh story complete. Were you much past that 50% mark? Or like, were you quite close to the completion, or were you pretty much halfway?
I was pretty close to halfway, maybe at about 60% or something like that. But the interesting thing about it is I'd already finished Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah, I saw that. I was interested. I did a little bit of snooping, and I found it a bit weird because like early July you did half of Mortal Kombat X. And then a week later, you did the entirety of Mortal Kombat 11's story, which is like, it's kind of like watching, I don't know, half of The Godfather 1 and then watching Godfather 2 and being like, I don't really understand any of this because
There's no
I don't know what
context.
happened there's no context. I mean, was it kind of like that, or does it not really matter? It's just stupid fighting.
I don't think it mattered too much. It's not like I was getting lost with the story or anything like that. But the reason that kind of happened was they both came up on my RTDL that month. So I ended up getting past the 50% point on Mortal Kombat 10, and then the Mortal Kombat 11 one was for finishing the story. So I just went ahead and did that. They do reference the ending of Mortal Kombat 10 in Mortal Kombat 11, but it's not like you need to have finished it to follow what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
And actually 10 itself is a follow-on from Mortal Kombat, which is just called Mortal Kombat, although it is technically Mortal Kombat 9. And the reason it was called Mortal Kombat was because it was a kind of a soft reboot of the series. It wiped clean the storylines and started kind of fresh, and had a much more narrative kind of cutscene approach to the story, where it's kind of like you're in a cutscene and then suddenly you're in a fight off the back of that cutscene, right? Which is also the approach that Injustice then took as well. It was quite successfully, I thought. The Injustice games do that as well. But that's kind of different to all those like PlayStation 2, Xbox original era games, like Deadly Alliance, where I don't think there's even any cutscenes or anything, is there? You just get like you just get given like a narrated, you know, Quan Chi was walking through the desert, and then there's a few fights, and then you just have an end scene where he's like, he finally faced his nemesis and then got eaten by the Soul Eater or something like that.
Absolutely, and I'm
That's
sure
the
that's Quan
entirety of
Chi's
the
ending
story.
as well. They've certainly kicked up the story a lot in this, I guess, the latest trilogy. I didn't get a chance to play Mortal Kombat 9. I liked Mortal Kombat 10 so much that I'd like to go back to Mortal Kombat 9.
It's annoying because it's actually quite hard to get hold of. I recently got hold of it because it's backwards compatible. It was like in the last batch of backwards compatible games, but they took it off the digital store, so you have to get a physical copy.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're
at least here it was quite pricey. You know?
I'll probably wait till I find it cheap somewhere, but I really love the new style that Mortal Kombat's going with. I think it's fantastic. I've seen a lot of videos that say there's quite a few plot holes, but to be honest, I'm a pretty easy target with that kind of stuff. Like, I either like it or I don't, and I thought it was fantastic.
So, story complete for both 10 and 11 now. Are you looking forward to the next one as well? They're kind of doing it. I think it's another slight kind of reboot, soft reboot again with Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah.
Is that what they're calling it? Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
You looking forward to that one?
I am looking forward to it. I'm a little bit apprehensive about it. I'm curious as to why they're rebooting again. I feel like it's going to feel unnatural, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost like they're now taking a leaf from like film franchises, like superhero franchises. It's like Spider-Man, right? How many soft reboots
Get another trilogy, and then we'll reboot again.
Because I guess it generates a new wave of interest suddenly, like.
Yeah, I guess new players feel like they can jump in again, you know?
They can jump in, and also because it's a reboot, that's kind of a selling point in a way. Instead of it being like, oh, it's the 5th sequel in the ongoing franchise, and people can be like, oh, it's starting to get, you know, franchise fatigue or story or whatever. They could be like, oh, well, we've rebooted it, so it's all new, it's all fresh. It's basically the same. We're just retelling the same thing again and again, but it's been rebooted.
I mean, I guess it's a way for newer players to feel like they can jump into a franchise, and even players who've been playing it for a while but didn't quite get the first few games, they can feel like they catch up on that story a little bit. That kind of made sense with Mortal Kombat 9. I'm a little, as I said, I'm a little worried about how they're going to go with Mortal Kombat 1, but I'll trust the developers that they know what they're doing. Because, I mean, they did a really good job with the last one, so.
Yeah. So having completed the story, and it looks like you also did a bunch of kind of stuff on the side, but not a huge amount. You're only left with, on Mortal Kombat X, 18 out of 73 achievements. And the rest of it is your typical kind of fighting stuff. You've got completing certain types of matches, doing a whole load of fatalities, brutalities, doing specific things in specific matches, playing with every character. There's the towers, which is a mode within there. So you're left with quite a lot of stuff, and the DLC. Do you plan on kind of going back at it, chipping away at it, or are you kind of done with Mortal Kombat X?
I'd love to go back in there and do a bunch of that stuff, but there is a lot of grind in there. There's a lot of towers to do. I'm pretty sure there's even a pretty hefty online component. I'd love to get it all done. Finding the time and somebody else who wants to put up with doing that kind of grind is a whole different story, though.
It is it's like a 6 ratio game or something.
Yeah.
Like you say, tens of hours, 80 hours upwards, plus skill, I assume, required for some of that. But on the other side, on Mortal Kombat 11, that looks like actually quite a relatively straightforward completion. And actually, you're like 42 of 58 achievements on that. That's only like a 2.2 ratio. So you've done a lot more on that one.
Yeah, they really figured out their achievement list in the next one because it's all very straightforward. It's like do a fatality with every character, finish the story, and then a few little miscellaneous ones, but nothing crazy. But Mortal Kombat 10 is a whole different story. There's quite a bit to it.
Yeah, I hope they have a reasonable list for the new one because I understand the kind of need to reward loyalty and people who want to sink hundreds of hours into a single fighting game, which people do, you know, if they're like purists and they want to be like first in the world or whatever. It's probably no thing, but for your average gamer, it's quite a big barrier to entry if you're thinking, I might complete that game, and it's like, no, actually no, I'm never going anywhere near that. So having a kind of a more balanced list, something that's a bit more approachable, something that's more like 40 hours instead of hundreds of hours.
Oh yeah, I think the online component is the real kicker there because I am not good at fighting games at all. I'm very much a button masher. So going into an online game, it's like doing match after match without getting a hit in. So it's pretty rough.
Mortal Kombat is a game that you can kind of button mash your way through as well, isn't it? And if you learn a couple of the combos for a couple of the characters that you can pull off, then it's not too bad.
Then you have a fighting chance for sure. My trick was always doing the uppercuts all the time.
Yes, constant uppercuts. Does this one have weapons as well? Because I remember way back in the day on Deadly Alliance, they introduced that.
It doesn't, but I do remember in Deadly Alliance, you'd switch to your weapon mode, and then I think it was the black button at the time, where you could like stab your opponent, and then they'd have a constant health drain. 13-year-old me loved that. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm very much the same as you, is that I liked the idea of Mortal Kombat as a kid growing up, never really played one properly. And then Deadly Alliance was the one that I actually owned, played a lot of, really enjoyed. And then I think I did a little bit of the ones that came after that. Armageddon, was that one of them? Apocalypse? What was the one after Deception where they kill everybody?
Yeah, I think it was Armageddon. I didn't play that one, but I know of it.
That was the one where it just went absolutely nuts and they were like... They just killed all the main characters. Spoiler alert from a 30-year-old game. Or whatever it is, 20-year-old game.
I was going to play that too, but now I can't.
Who are your favourite Mortal Kombat characters?
Oh, that's a real
Who's
tough
your go-to?
one. I feel like it's really generic, but I always like playing as someone like Sub-Zero or Scorpion.
Yeah. They're timeless. They're classic.
Oh, absolutely. I remember back in the Deadly Alliance days, though, you'd get through most of the storyline, and then you'd have to fight this boss called Moloch, I think his name was, which was like this giant troll kind of thing. And as I said, I'm terrible at fighting games. And there was this really random character who I think he was only in that game and never in another game. And he's called Movado. And he had these 2 hook swords. And there was this one attack that you could just spam over and over again. And he was my favorite there. So a little bit of interesting trivia for you there.
Yeah, I remember that one. And actually, back in the day, in the old Mortal Kombat games, there was usually that as well. It's like, this boss is like almost impossible to defeat unless you use this very specific character and just spam this very specific move, which is completely cheap and not really skill-based at all, but if you suck at fighting games, it's literally the only thing you can do.
Yeah. The weirdest thing was that wasn't even the final boss. It was just like the third random mini boss, and it was way harder than the actual bosses.
Was that the massive guy, and then he had a little guy kind of on his back, kind of like in Mad Max Thunderdome? But he was like a massive troll dude.
I don't know if he had someone on his back, but it was definitely like a massive guy, almost like a troll,
like
and he had like chains on his hands and stuff like that.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a completely different game. That's not what we're here to talk about. Anyway, thanks again, Hurricane Dale, for completing yet another of your never-ending stories, and I'm sure we'll be speaking very soon to talk about your next one.
I'm sure we will. Thanks for having me back.
Bye-bye.
Bye.